Linda. I think Linda was
Coming.
very interested in hearing tonight's talk.
She can't wait.
Yeah,
Just
good
spoke on
stuff. Yeah, welcome everyone to the JLSM book study group for Monday, the 28th of March, 2022. John Lavenia here with you. Tonight we're covering at least chapter 4. We are going to get through it. Probably chapter 5 as well. We'll see how long it takes to get through chapter 4. There's a lot of meat in this chapter. Let me find it. What did you guys think of this as you went through this?
4.
Mhm.
I was it was overwhelming to me because of the way he talks about it with the these people are making $100 million deals or something like that. So
Mhm.
a lot of it I didn't feel related to me. And I would try to reframe it to something that I could understand. Like today,
Okay.
I pitched to something
Uh-huh.
and I got reframed several times. But Bob said I kept, but what did I do?
Rebuilding your frame.
Because I was dealing with a bully, a doctor bully. And
Ah,
but he would talk about his tie, he would talk about his wife. I'm like, back to the thing. Some of the What was that quote he said? Hi guys, let's get started. I only have like 20 minutes. Would you ever say that to somebody that you were
yeah.
pitching? But hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, something like that. I feel like if I said that to somebody, they would see right through me because they would know. Because my
Okay.
behavior is not that of a professional salesman yet. So
Okay. Well, that's fine. Let's take that up because that's really getting to the core of the psychology of this entire book, which I call posture. I call it a relaxed confidence, a posture, a knowingness. But imagine it like this. You're busy and successful. You walk into a meeting. You've got other meetings that day. Okay.
yeah.
And you're the prize. Okay. So, because you're busy and successful and people want to do business with you. Do you have any problem saying, as that person, do you have any problem saying, you know what, let's get right down to it. I've only got 20 minutes.
No, I have no problem saying something like that, but I just feel that they know. They can look at me and see. That's how I just feel. Like amateur, amateur, amateur. But I believe in what I'm saying. That's the only thing I have going for me. And I truly believe what I'm selling, but they can very easily get over on me.
Okay. So let's back this up into a core basic philosophy that one must be something in order to do something. So for you to pull that off and do it congruently, you've got to be busy and successful. It can't just be a story. Okay. You've got to be busy and successful. So let's define those words. What is busy? That's where you have many activities to accomplish in a given period of time. Are you busy, Missy?
Yes, I am.
Aha. All right. Successful. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Yes,
This
I
is
am.
something. Are you successful?
I certainly am.
So you're busy and successful. And you're giving some of your time to meet with this person, this whoever, whatever their title is. I don't care about titles. You know that, right? Do you care about titles? Is that what it is? This person's got a doctorate degree, a
Oh, I care
PhD.
about demeanors. Like this guy today.
Hmm.
He's somewhat similar to you, but he's nasty. He can be nasty.
Okay.
And he didn't know we were coming in to talk about this. It was the allergist. And he was nice at the end because he had decided today I will have mercy because sometimes he's merciless.
Uh-huh.
And just as a patient, he's merciless. Um, like I don't know how to deal with people like that yet.
Okay. Well, keep reading the book. But the but the idea here, welcome Virginia, welcome Linda. But the idea here is that, well, at least in chapter 4, where you're pitching your big idea, you're doing it within the frames that you've already set up. But underlying all of that has to be the posture of what he calls prizing in here. And we're going to get more on that as we continue through the book. Are these chapters shorter towards the end? A little bit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're a little bit shorter. So we got two beefy chapters here with us. We'll see how much of this we can get through tonight. Definitely got to get through chapter 4. All right. But if you're, you know how you've heard probably the term fake it till you make it?
Yeah,
We don't believe in that, do we, Linda?
Right. Well, the reason why we don't believe in that is because it's not workable. You've got people seeing right through it, because the majority of communication is not the words. I mean, in the written text, yes. I mean, now we're looking at the words, okay, and that's the entirety of the communication. But even with written words, we still there's a posture to it. There's a conversation that's happening between the author and the reader, okay? And there is a certain amount of altitude or prizing, if you will. Hey, Stuart, there's a certain amount of that exists just by virtue of the fact that who caused this book to occur? Oh, the author did. So their cause and your effect. You're reading, right? You're the effect. So in that same, with that same logic, you can then look at, all right, so you've got an offer, you've got something of value into the marketplace. You're putting it into the marketplace, particularly at this moment with this guy that you're talking to. Who's got the value? Who's cause point here? You are. They are receipt point. They are effect point. All right. So if you could just keep that in mind, not by faking it, okay, but by recognizing and observing the obvious, although it's not that obvious to some people. And this is why this book was written and has become popular with a lot of hopefuls, right? People who want to become successful at, what does it say here? Presenting, persuading, and winning the deal. They cannot do it. They can't embody this by faking it. They're going to have to get out of their own way. And this is something that I had to, this took some time. This wasn't, and so Missy and everyone else who may feel like, well, I haven't quite, assimilated this yet. I still feel like a bit of a fish out of water. Yeah, I get it. How many hours did Oren take on 10,000? Right. So you get to the point where, yeah, you can show up in front of anybody and be as relaxed as he was when he took the apple off the table and cut a slice for himself, took the apple off of Mr. Big's table, right? So that is, he was talking about, that was in the status chapter, I think. Oh, no, it wasn't in this one.
that was
That
previous
was in the
chapter.
beginning, yeah.
Right. I think that was in the last chapter. Anyway, but the posture has to be congruent. When we talk about ideas like integrity, okay, so what does that mean? It means, people have different ideas that come up when they think about that word. Okay, my favorite definition for that word is the state of being whole, undivided, and undiminished. Hence, there is no faking it. So if you go into a situation, you're pitching your big idea, you do so with the conviction that you already sold yourself, right?
Yeah.
Even if, and here's the thing, Missy and everyone, even if you're not a customer of that thing. So when I was doing sales in the corporate world, there were products that I would pitch and that I would win the deal, even though that wasn't a product for me. I'm not the buyer, okay? But I fully understand the solution that buyer wants, to the degree where, with total certainty, there's waddles for you, right? The certain way. With certainty, I could pitch the big idea, right? And it's for them, it's for their benefit, right? So it's almost a bit selfless. It's an interesting dichotomy, guys. I don't know if you got this, but the idea that you can have all your attention on, working the frame, pricing, and all the stuff that he's talking about in this book, that you can have all your attention on how you're serving, because it's a win-win, all right? How you're serving that person who might think that they're too cool for school. They might think that. But the fact that you're extroverting, the fact that you can pick up the communication, which is not just the words, okay? It's all the physiology, the voice inflections, the body language, all of it. Okay, the fact that you can extrovert so that you can actually perceive this stuff. The only chance you've got of doing that is if you're already okay with yourself. This is where the posture comes in. This is where the knowingness, the conviction, the certainty, all of it. This is why fake it till you make it doesn't work. Because if you're introverting, you can't do this. If you're thinking, I hope I'm doing it right, you lose. You can't introvert and do this. And admittedly, throughout the book, Ohrenclaff says, and that was, man, this was a rough one. And, I knew if this didn't go over well, I was going to end up in a fist fight or something, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the kind of thing where, yeah, I mean, even a professional, they introvert sometimes, they waffle a little bit, and he doesn't sell everybody. Keep in mind, this isn't, look at me, the title of the book isn't, I'm perfect, my name is Ohrenclaff. That's not the title of the book. Pitching your big idea. Thank you for getting us started, Missy. I think that was great. That was great. Yeah. Who else has some ideas on chapter 4? Pitching your big idea. Big beefy chapter here.
I was thinking it kind of makes sense for because we've been talking about, in one of our other groups about doing social media outreach. And I thought this was really going to be helpful for that, is learning how to phrase things in a really concise way. Like he talks in one of the earlier chapters about, doing that 2-minute pitch. And that's basically what you want to do if it's a social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just want it quick, concise, hit the big points, create tension, create curiosity, and then leave it.
The pull and push, that was good.
Yeah, the pull and push.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So there's a bit of give and take with that, and sort of the the takeaway sort of posture. What did he say in previous chapters? Always be leaving.
Yeah.
Who's always leaving? The busy, successful person. The person who doesn't need the deal. That's posture, guys. You can't do that if you don't know that you're the prize. No, not hope. No. Thank you, Catherine. Stuart's got a hot mic. Get ready, everybody. Here comes Stuart.
Like you said, this chapter 4, chock full. I like that he broke things down into various different phases, right? And that you should only do a few minutes for your intro, and a few minutes for the budget, and a few minutes for your offer, and a few minutes so you can stack your frames. He was saying that no company in America should let anybody pitch anything, for an hour or whatever. And the brain, after 20 minutes, starts to work in reverse, and then you start to forget things. As I'm making notes here. Right, Crick and Watson, greatest scientific discovery of all time, 5-minute pitch or whatever.
That's it, 5-minute pitch. Here's the secret of the life. Right.
Anything could be pitched in 20 minutes. And that being in a pitch environment, your brain automatically senses it as a threat, and that we need to put the target at ease, right? And so by opening with the, hey guys, I only got about 20 minutes to do this, right away people are like, oh man, thank God, I'm not going to be here all day, or whatever it is. And it's a way to kind of break the ice, but also to kind of make people feel like, oh good, I'm not going to be stuck listening to this person all day or whatever. And then you can kind of go from there. He was talking about change blindness, and that really stuck with me, that being a wilderness guide, being an outdoors person, and understanding that we track movement, right? The croc brain tracks movement. And the way when I'm out stalking wildlife, or bringing people on wildlife encounters, and we want to go see the elk, or we want to see the deer, you wait till the deer drops its head and starts munching on some grass, and then you move up a little bit, and then when the deer looks up, you freeze, right? And because animals like
Good
that,
demo, Stuart.
thank you. Animals like that sense movement, right? And if you stand still, then they don't know you're there. And then the other end of that is from the prey animal standpoint, right? So that's the predator tracking the prey. From the prey animal standpoint, the bird that sits up in the tree and doesn't move with this, if I don't move, you can't see me kind of thing, right? And so, and that doesn't always work, right? I mean, you know, but that's the way our animal brains tend to work. So I really appreciated that aspect of it because it translated just to my wheelhouse. But this idea that we need to convey movement, even if it's just conceptually, right? And so that I thought was fascinating. How do you create this perception of movement with just your words? Because it's not a visual kind of, I mean, if you got graphs and all that other stuff, right, and you can have your visuals in your presentation, but and so the way that he says to do that is by using the three forces, right, and the market forces, right, and so you know, here's the current state of the market. You know, here's the things that people are dissatisfied with. Here's the opportunity that we're taking advantage of. The why now, you know, that translated a lot for me in relation to the conservation work that I do, because I spent a lot of time working to protect wild places here in New Mexico, wilderness, national monuments, conservation areas, things like that. And there's always, you know, and I got to go before, you know, a panel in the Senate or, you know, a congressional delegation and, you know, talk about how special this place is or that place is or whatever. And the one question is, well, why now? Right. And so we almost always have to come up with some kind of sense of urgency. Well, you know, oil and gas development is now threatening this area, or whatever it is that, you know, what's the threat or what's the, you know, and so to me that translated into, okay, well, when you're pitching an idea, right, he says not to make it seem like it's a static thing, and
Right.
that there has to be either a sense of urgency or why now, because conditions in the market are perfect right now for this, or up until now we didn't have the technology, you know, to bring this product to market, but now we do, right? And so all those things I found, and again, I'm not the boardroom guy, right? But I find this this book and this chapter in particular, again, I'm not the person that's, you know, going to stand in front of people to pitch, you know, a business idea, but I sure as heck have been in front of, you know, people that, let's say, you know, felt that they were very important, and maybe, you know, and maybe there are in terms of congressional delegations and things like that. But being able to pitch a concept, whether, you know, it didn't necessarily translate to a dollar value in terms of a business deal, but again, I found ways to relate that to my own experience. So I'm really
Let's park
enjoying
on
this
that
book.
for a second, Stuart, because I think this is very instructive, because the whole idea of movement, and we could talk about reticular activating systems, croc brain, the you know, the deer and headlights, you know, that whole thing. By the way, I had a greyhound who has since passed on, but when we would take him to the vet, he would stand behind my legs, just his head. He would put his head behind my legs, and his whole rest of his body is sticking out there. But the vet would be like, "Where's Pharaoh? Where did he go?" And so he would just hide. But economic, social, and technological forces. You just said, you know, oil and gas is moving on, right? This, or attacking, you know, this market segment. I'm visualizing an attack. I'm seeing movement, right? And you could substantiate that with stats and whatever. But these three forces, think of this as it relates to anything you're pitching. Now, you don't have to be pitching to an investor. Like, here's why you guys want to invest in this. These are the three forces that are coming into play to your benefit. Okay. But any offer, remember the title of the book is Pitch Anything. Economic force. I pull up an example here, just in my own life. Here he was talking about, he made up a device called Upright, right? So you guys read about this, the wrist device or whatever it is, which didn't exist, right? He just made it up. But all right, so here's shopping club. All right, here's a wholesale shopping club membership. Economic forces, offsetting the the effects of inflation. People want to save money, right? And all that. So that's an economic force, right? Social force. Okay, so social. People are looking to buy American. They have awareness of the environment, right? And being good stewards of the planet and all this, right? The green movement, right? Technological force, convenience, shop online. Shipping is shipping is easier than ever, right? People get a cardboard box on their doorstep every day, right? So I just thinking of one offer, just one offer. I'm thinking of all the reasons, all the forces that are driving this offer. And look, there's that saying in real estate, there's the three most important things in real estate. Does anybody know what they are?
Location, location, location.
Correct. There you go. Thank you, Bob. Those are the three most important factors in real estate, right? So I've heard it said that the three most important factors in business are timing, timing, and timing.
Mm.
Okay, do with that what you will, but see, we just painted a picture of why now. Awesome stuff. Back to you, Stuart. You were saying?
Oh, what he was talking about, the model for the pitch, and he called it oh God, can't remember what he called it. But when you get up there,
Introduction pattern?
Yes, the pattern. What was that, John?
The introduction pattern for the big idea?
Yes, the introduction pattern. And that, we have a tendency to want to, say our whole life history and, well, I was in, kindergarten and this and that, and really he's like, it's important to give your background, but just hit the wins. You don't need to talk about, all these other things, right? He gives the example of his friend Joe, whatever. Oh, I got an MBA from here and I worked at this company and, got the big deal from Lexus, right? And that's what people remember. What do you call it? The law of averages or something like that too, where you tell one great thing about yourself, that's what people remember. You tell one great thing and one kind of forgettable thing, people kind of are lukewarm about it. You tell one great thing and a couple of mediocre things, and all of a sudden you're kicked down
Right.
a couple notches.
Because we're not adding, they're not considering the sum, they're considering the average. The croc brain is. Right. Have you guys seen this? Have you seen it where people, they want to talk and talk and talk and talk about all of their, experience and for whatever it's worth. And usually there's a lot of embellishment. Isn't it interesting that the more people want to talk about themselves and assert their greatness, usually the less certain they actually are of themselves, right? You think, I don't know, pick a, well, this, maybe not such a famous person. I was just thinking like a Donald Trump, right? Does he need to tell you who he is? Well, that person, the whole world knows who that is. Okay. But I don't know, think of somebody else, right? Maybe a CEO of a company or something like that. Or think of, again, you becoming this in advance, you having that posture and that certainty. Think of yourself. All right. So you don't have at this moment, right, world renowned, recognition or whatever. However, have you not accomplished some great things? When I start a sales pitch, if I'm talking a webinar, let's say, for example, a group of people, I'll give some of my accomplishments, right? Sometimes I'll even make a damaging admission to make myself relatable and to make everything I say next going to be more accessible to people. He didn't talk much about that in there. Okay, because in the context of the type of sales he's doing, there's no, that's probably not a good direction to go in, a damaging admission. However, when you're setting the stage or creating the frame, you need to do so knowing that you've accomplished great things. You're going to accomplish more. And maybe this is the biggest deal of your life, but you don't go in there needy with that. You go in there confidently. Here's a few things about myself. And then, of course, that leads to the what I thought you were going to discuss, Stuart, was the introduction pattern, sort of like the elevator pitch, right? For busy executives, we've got this, and it's better than that, and here's why, right? In fact, I've heard somebody, multiple people. Where did I get this from? Oh my goodness! The ultimate simplicity of a sales pitch is: here's what we've got, here's what it'll do for you, here's what you do next. So that boiled down to the ultimate simplicity, right? Here's what we've got. Here's what it'll do for you. Here's what you do next to get it. Here's how you sign up. Here's how you enroll, or whatever. Can you get it down that brief? He's talking about brevity. So always be leaving isn't just for his own posture. Okay, that's also a benefit to the customer. What did Stuart say? Hey, guys, let's get down to it because I only got 20 minutes. Oh, thank God. I thought I was going to have to pack a lunch. Oh my goodness. I talked to the other guy and like we were 45 minutes in, he was still telling us about, I don't even know what he was telling. I forgot it all. But 45 minutes of my life is gone. Thank you. No, thank you. I'm sorry, Stuart, you were talking.
No, you were talking.
You guys ever been on a webinar where the person, the host, was actually reading the text on the slides? Have you ever seen that? Where they're reading slides verbatim? That is like the worst shit in the world. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I do sometimes? If I'm doing a presentation about something, I've got one of these. Where is it? It's in the other over there. Yeah, I got one of those drawing tablets where it's got like a stylus and it's just like a touchpad and you can draw on it. And I got software that's like whiteboard presentation on the computer right over Zoom or whatever the technology is. And I'll sometimes draw out. So this goes there, movement, and pointing arrows to that. And my penmanship sucks. So which is a nice joke, some relatability. Sorry, guys, I never learned how to write, despite the fact that I'm an author. And so I'm just drawing this stuff out, which communicates what? This guy knows what he's doing. He's not reading from notes. He's not reading a freaking slide. He's like, screw the slides. He'll just draw this out. How many times have you heard great orators just go off script? Or they're supposed to be, they're at the podium following the teleprompter and they're way, way off. But they know their stuff. Okay. Is that not posture? Does that not induce confidence in you? This guy's drawn on a whiteboard with no notes, right? Sometimes I'll purposely skip slides. I'll be like, all right, and there's that, we don't need that. All right, next, right? Let me show you this. So I'm saving them time. They're like, oh, thank God, he's not going through every little detail, which I frankly don't care about. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? That's it. In fact, I've heard it said that, the ultimate radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? Just remember, tune into that station at all times. That's what your customers tuned into. What's in it for me? If it's not necessary to say, it's necessary not to say. If it's not necessary to say, it's necessary not to say. And I've seen so many people talk themselves out of sales like they're professionals at it. They're like the damn sales prevention department. Yeah. Keep talking. I had one guy just recently. I was like, all right, listen, you got the prospect, you got them scheduled. Okay, I'm going to go and you watch me. All right. Listen. Don't talk. I'm going to do the pitch. Listen to me. So I got all the way through the pitch. They're like ready to go. And this freaking guy opens his mouth. And I said, I've got control of this, right? And we got the customer all the way through the transaction, everything done. And then I said, great. And then, Billy over here will make sure you've got everything you need. Feel free to lean on me a bit. I've got obviously a bit of experience with all this. You have a great day. Done and done. Then I called Billy. That's not his real name. Then I called Billy and I said, you never, ever talk over the expert. There's a reason for the mute button. Yeah. And when I'm not the expert, shut your mouth, John. Shut mouth. I did this just the other day. I was the tag along. Okay. We were looking at advertising. We're negotiating some advertising. And I had one of my partners on there. And I positioned myself as, you know what, let me bring the expert in, because this way it was a third party, somebody who knows more about the inner workings of the advertising thing. And I made the introductions and whatever, and then I shut up unless spoken to. So this is more, look, guys, it's a dance. It's a bit of a dance here, but you just got to know your role in all this. Know your role and know that if it's not necessary to say, it's necessary not to say. I don't think that was in the book, but you just got it from me. I freaking love this book. Guys, this is the best explanation of what I call posture that I've ever read. Thank you, Oren Claff. Sorry, we were having a conversation.
Another thing I liked was the idea that you don't pitch the idea too soon. That there's a buildup, and that the temperature, right? He talks about the temperature, that it can be too cold, too cool, and then you can even turn it cold by giving too much too soon, or giving details when people aren't ready for the details. And I like the idea that this is almost like a living thing, the pitch, and that and timing, like you were talking about, and that you're creating anticipation, you're creating you're warming the room up or whatever that is, right? And you're creating a situation where then there's the right time where everybody's like on the edge of their seats and they want to know what it is. Whereas if you drop it in the first few minutes, people aren't ready for it, and you've kind of wasted your the ability to capture people's attention to the greatest degree, so that when you do drop the idea or the pitch, that people are most receptive to it, and that there's a science behind that, and truly a science, right? And that's why I like this book and this guy, because just like you're saying, that there really is a methodology to all this stuff. And even what you were just saying about bringing in the expert, right? Even if you may know as much as the other person, right? There's a psychology to the expert, right? And then you bring that person in, and they wear a hat or fulfill a role, and you're wearing a hat and you're fulfilling a role. And maybe even if you're fully capable of doing the whole soup to nuts gig, that maybe that's not as beneficial to the success of the pitch, because then the target is thinking, oh, this guy is doing everything or whatever, is too much on this one person. But if you bring in, like, and make it look like you have a team or whatever it is, right, then everybody's fulfilling a role, everybody's performing a function, and you're creating a scenario where the people on the other side of the table or the other side of the Zoom or whatever it is are going to be most influenced by that scenario that you're creating for them.
Sure. And how did he say you could turn a lukewarm room into ice cold? With dropping what? Details, facts and figures, spreadsheets, like, oh my goodness. Right? Now we got to get into the neocortex. Now we're going to put John to sleep. Right? I mean, right? Yeah, we need that stuff to substantiate once we've got a hook in. Okay, but you launch that crap too early, and you're putting everybody out. And so many people want to throw up on their customer, or throw up in the boardroom, right? Look, all this stuff I know, right? It almost gets kind of Zen. Lao Tzu said, those who speak do not know, those who know do not speak, right? Now, obviously you can take that to a ridiculous extreme where, the sales pitch is a meditation session. So that's not optimal either, right? But again, if it's not necessary to say, what do you talk about attention, right? So we're engaging the croc brain here. We're engaging the part that just reacts and observes threats and food and mate and whatever, right? So and you can get very detailed when it comes to relationships. There, the croc brain thrives on that stuff, but not on facts and figures. Okay. So if you're gonna fall back to a story because you got a cold room or something, some relevant story with intrigue and movement, like Stuart was talking about, and the peril, right? I mean, we love that stuff. Croc brain's engaged now. Okay. Dopamine and norepinephrine. So this is, guys, this is interesting. And you can do what you like if you want to agree with this. This is just a bit of analysis about the component parts of attention. So based on human brain and physiology and all this, dopamine is the neurotransmitter of desire. And it's not necessarily, oh, I'm so happy I got the stuff. It's, oh, I'm so interested in getting the stuff. The chase is better than the catch. My daughter experiences this all the time. And so do we all. Look, I go shopping. I'll be on the computer looking at such and such items. And I've got the dopamine of, oh yeah, I could get that. Once I got it, it's like, all right, I got it. It's cool. What else could I buy here? Huh? So now I've got a bit of restraint, okay, which is a good thing, right? I could put something on my wish list, and if I'm still getting dopamine over it 6 months from now, maybe I'll buy it. I mean, do I need it right now? I like seeing it on my wish list, and so maybe I'm a bit extreme. My daughter would be the exact opposite. I want. I want. So it's that fast. All right. So, and I would say that this is another thing where you could see like social media and people who are addicted to their favorite soap opera. Are there still soap operas on TV? They still run those? I don't know. Okay. Or the news for that matter, right? People can actually get addicted to the, to these neurochemicals and whatever, because the other one, dopamine, is the neurotransmitter of desire. Norepinephrine is the neurotransmitter of tension. Together, they add up to attention. So what if someone, picture this, okay? Here's Mr. and Mrs. Public, punching the clock every day or doing whatever they do. And they're addicted to the news because what they do in their mundane, actions throughout the day doesn't keep their attention. They may have some dopamine going on. They may have some desire, but man, attention. Oh, look what's going on. World events, problems, peril. Addicted. So, and norepinephrine. Desire and tension. Missy put in the chat, or Bob did, who's going to buy the cow when they get the milk for free. So when we get into pitching, keeping in mind this all starts at the outset. When does the pitch start? Back to the old saying, always be closing, right? As soon as they see the ad, as soon as they got the marketing message, as soon as the promotion went from cause point, which is you, to receipt point, which is them. That's the beginning of the sales process. They didn't know you existed. Now they do. Okay. Have they already received satisfaction? I hope not, because there's a cardinal sin of marketing, right? You want to create attention, but not satisfy attention. You want to create curiosity, but not satisfy the curiosity. And so what he's talking about here when pitching is that you're bouncing back and forth between the desire and tension. This is great, and this is how we can not get it, right? Yeah, we want this, we want to avoid that, right? And since we're wired this way, just like a mouse, you know why they use mice in like lab experiments, right, with the cheese and everything, is because there's a binary drive there. There's, I want cheese and I want to avoid cats, right? Seek pleasure, avoid pain. Very simple. Very simple. But the attention, I don't know how to create. I don't know how to create that, Stuart and everyone else, with a spreadsheet. It's terribly mundane. I remember this commercial. It was an Apple commercial, Apple computers, Mac. Okay, remember those old commercials? I'm a Mac, I'm a PC. Those two guys standing there, right? I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, and it was a goof, right? It was like the PC guy was like this nerdy guy. The Mac guy was all cool, right? A bit youthful, and so the PC guy, hey, Catherine's cat.
Oh,
But I remember the PC guy was there talking about how he used his PC to record the the family vacation they just went on, and he pulled up. Now, obviously, PCs can do more than this, okay? But we're going back 15 years or whatever when those commercials ran, and he pulled up on the screen to show the Mac guy. Look, and then we had this much time we spent at the cliffs, and we went to see the waterfall. You see, this is the statistics of what we did. He's showing him like an Excel spreadsheet or something. This is my family vacation. And the Mac guy said, wow, I feel like I was there, in jest, right? Like, this is why are you showing me this? Whereas on the Mac, oh, look, we got iMovie, we do videos, right? So that was the dichotomy of, this is entertaining, this is fun, dopamine, tension, right? This is, you're putting me to sleep with your friggin' spreadsheet, man. Like, I don't care. It may have been spectacular. It may have been more spectacular than this guy's vacation on the Mac, okay? But you're just not communicating to my croc brain. That's basically what he was saying. Movement, desire, tension. Facts tell, stories sell, guys. Again, you'll back up your story with facts. Here's your data. That's fine. So you made a good decision. You could substantiate that. But stories. Have I been hogging the time? There's no way we're getting through chapter 5. There's no way.
We didn't even get to phase 2.
Yeah. Go on, Stuart. You were saying?
Well, kind of playing on what you were saying a little bit about all that, to me, falls back to what Oren was saying about the analytic frame, right? And I guess really what we're now saying is that the detriments of the analytic frame can come from either end, right? And so normally, when you're giving your pitch, he was in the beginning of the book, he was talking about how, you don't let the analytic frame win the frame war because it'll kill your pitch, right? But what we're talking about here is sort of introducing the analytic frame from our end and cooling the temperature of our own pitch, right? So you don't want to give too many details too soon. You don't want to offer up the Excel spreadsheet that's just going to bore anybody, right? Because that's sort of the inverse of the analytic frame or whatever that might be. But the concept of killing your own pitch with too many details or analytic, numbers or math or whatever, to boring shit, too soon. And what'd you say? Sun Tzu, Lao Tzu, those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know.
Yeah.
Confucius said, I never said any of that shit.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
And then he talks about what's this one fly? Right, welcome to spring. There's one fly that hatched in my house, and it's he was saying that our brain, just like when it comes to fear and unknown or irrational fears, right? Meaning the thing that's never going to happen, but we freak out about it in our brain, and that your brain doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. It reacts the same way, right? And he's saying the same thing when he starts talking about social threats, and our brain reacts the same way as if it's a physical threat.
Mhm.
And so when you're either on the receiving end of the pitch and you're worried that the idea that somebody's pitching you, right, your croc brain, is this a threat, and should I run away from it? But the other side of that coin was if the person pitching is not confident, right, is obviously nervous or afraid, and then that person picks up on your anxiety, and it creates this negative feedback loop where at that point, you might as well walk out of the room because, you've lost your people, you're flailing over your words, or you're nervous, or whatever it is. And then the people in the room know that you're nervous, and then that makes you more nervous. And it's a pitch killer.
Right. Bob? Missy?
I know this is probably going down a road nobody wants to go, but this chapter 4 made me very uncomfortable. And I just want to myself, I need to bring Neville Goddard back in. And I need to do that in my mind because this is too businessy for me. And it doesn't feel authentic to my life because I've never, although I'm in it now and I love it and I like it. And but is there a way to combine the two?
Yes. Of course. Who's doing it? Stuart says he knew you were going to Goddard this. All right. So, you have, on one hand, you've got that which is ethereal or I don't want to say mystical, but you have things that are personally actionable, but you're not going to bring them into the boardroom or into the sales pitch. Then you have things that are more skill sets. What he's talking about here is more skill sets. Behind the skill set is who's doing it. All right, there's Neville for you, or any of the spiritual texts, or the philosophical things that we've read. Okay, so you got to go be that, and we kind of started our conversation with that tonight. Go be awesome. All right, go be that. And now do this. So as that, do this. Here's what to do. And here's just an understanding of the psychology of how it's going to be received. So this way you're not in a mystery. Is that anyone's goal here, to live in a state of mystery, not knowing why stuff works and why it doesn't? Why I talked to 150 prospects and nobody bought. And you're like in a state of mystery about that. That's an unsolvable problem. That sucks. I hate mysteries. Okay, I mean, I like mystery movies and whatever. It's intrigue, it's norepinephrine and whatever, tension. Okay, great. But like in real life, I don't want mysteries. I want to know stuff. I like knowing stuff. So here's the thing, Missy, as you uncomfortably digest what Oren's telling you at a high level, he's at the top of the friggin' mountain. Okay, and he's telling you this is the whole terrain. This is how you get to the top of the mountain. This is what it looks like. Okay, in fact, this is what the mountain's made of. And here are the problems that you'll find on the mountain, and here's how to overcome them, right? So here's like the entire manual on this. You can then absorb what you can at this time, saying this to everyone. Take what you can, assimilate what you can, and then go back into what you're doing now, because Missy, you're in business, you got multiple businesses running. And with that posture, if you get nothing else out of this, with that posture, see, oh, this is a small game I'm playing here. Well, let me go ahead and be the master of this game now. I mean, after all, Mastery up here is, there's a lot more moving parts. And now that I've seen the top of the mountain, well, this is kindergarten. I mean, come on, kindergarten. Come on, guys, you're buying this today, right? I mean, I had a just an hour ago, I had a client on a call that was looking to possibly participate in a coaching program. So anyway, $9,000 sale. I happened to be picking up my daughter and driving home from picking up my daughter. While I was driving, in the middle of my pitch, okay, which doesn't feel like it to me, two peacocks went across the road. We got a lake here, okay? We got a lake that apparently there's a flock or a gaggle or whatever they call themselves of peafowl. And they come and hang out on neighbors' lawns. There's the peahens over there. Anyway, two peacocks were going across the street today as I was driving, when the traffic had to stop, and there's these birds and they're looking around like, what the hell do I do? Get off the friggin' street. That's what you do. Okay. And so while I'm in mid conversation with this person, I just say, you got to see this. I mean, there's like two peacocks walking. You have peacocks where you are? You don't? This is like, yeah, I mean, they're here with the lake and they do the thing, and it's right in the middle of it. What just happened? By the way, they bought. Okay. But what just happened? What happened was I broke state, right? Brought them into, here's real. There's a story. It's movement. Stuart, peacocks walking across the street. Can you picture that? Right? Now, here's the question, Missy and everyone. Could I do that if I was concerned about the call? Oh my goodness, I gotta have the right words at the right time. Oh my goodness, what are they gonna think? No, you gotta see these freaking peacocks. I wish I had you on video right now. I'd show you the peacocks. What were we talking about again? It's the same guy who could take a pen and do the whiteboard thing with no notes, because I already know where we're going with this. I already know what the prize is. Anyway, so you'll get to that point. It doesn't take decades, although I've been at it for decades. Okay, but you'll get to that point. The more you absorb this stuff and then relate it back to what you're doing now. And I could tell you all that not that I've heard you do this, but I can see the posture growing in each of you. And just with what you've individually reported back to me as a result of reading this text, that you're incorporating, even if on a small level, even subconsciously, you're incorporating some of this stuff. I mean, what you put in is what comes out, guys. So you're getting it. You're getting it. Okay. You don't have 10,000 hours invested or a couple of decades, but you're getting it. And this will come out. What you put in is what comes out. So don't be so concerned with, I got to get it all right. I got to know all this stuff before I go and talk to my next customer or something. No, you're good. You're good. In fact, that's part of the whole idea of posture, is already knowing that you're good. You're already quite sufficient. You already are. So now go know that and go have a conversation with somebody about what they can buy, and peacocks and the llamas and God knows what else. And I hope I'm not occurring as exceedingly flippant with all this, but there is a bit of play throughout the book. You'll notice that Oren, he does it, his small acts of defiance, but good nature. So there's a bit of flippancy with this. It's not all so friggin' serious. Remember, only part of the communication is words. Your elevator pitch and how you introduce yourself. That's part of it. Okay. The majority of it is the physiology. And when you can do that, when you can be in the middle of a pitch and totally break state and go in a completely different direction, like he does with his stories. Right? So the room's cooling off. You know what? That reminds me of a story. Okay, great. Tell me a story. Ooh, story time. I like stories. Who's got the popcorn? Right? He's got the room back. And like Stuart was indicating, when it's cold and when it's hot. right? This is the whole idea of state, right? The state of the room, or if it's one-on-one, which is easier to do one-on-one, by the way. One to many is raising the bar. Like he talked about with the room full of accountants. What was that in chapter 4? Here he paid, was it $18,000 to get on the company plane and go to pitch the guys. Next thing you know, there's 25 accountants in the room and they're like a bunch of stones sitting there. What did he do? Was that where he started taking back the materials from guys? It's like, well, you're obviously all not interested. Oh, wait. Awesome. We've only heard from a few people here today. We do have Virginia. Lindsay hasn't gotten a word in. Linda, I know you were waiting for this all day. This dissertation. Virginia.
Hey,
Hey, girl.
how are you doing?
Good.
I have nothing to say because I'm not reading the book. I'm learning about it by participating in the book club.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay,
very
but
good.
Fascinating, and I would like to be able to read it at some point.
Good
so-
times.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Virginia. Glad you're here, my friend. And that we were able to give you some of the juices just through osmosis. You're getting it.
Mhm.
So good times. But read the book if you're interested. All right. Anybody else?
Well, for me, John, it was, the push-pull stuff was
Mhm.
interesting. How they, the difference, the low intensity one, the medium intensity, and then the high intensity, which is where they start, pulling stuff away.
Was that
and
in
I
chapter
think-
5 or are we still in chapter 4?
That was chapter 4, I believe.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know we're
Yeah,
frame
that's
stacking
such a
and
big
hot content.
chapter. Yeah.
A big chapter.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of stuff highlighted, but the
So
whole
the push-
dopamine thing was kind of, now we're talking about chemicals in the brain. I'm like, oh my goodness.
And that's interesting. Curiosa, right? We're not going to be doing test tube experiments or anything,
No.
but just so you get a bit more, for what it's worth, right? A bit more understanding of
Right.
why.
Yeah. And, creating desire. I mean, that's all part of the dopamine stuff.
Mhm.
So, and then, offer the reward and take something away. That's the push pull, right? So, yeah, I can see how we can use all that.
Yeah,
And we do. So,
you do. And you can do so more readily with a relaxed confidence, with a posture. You know
Yes.
when to push, you know when to pull.
right. And that's just practice.
And it's being extroverted. It's being able
Right.
to see what's actually going on. And
Right.
if what's going on isn't your pitch, well, then let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's like it goes back to chapter 3, breaking the frames, just constantly,
Right.
which Missy and I were kind of having fun with that this week. They broke your frame. He broke their frame.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Well, one other thing I'll say, Linda, just based on your push-pull affinity is think of it like the tide or like any other, ebb and flow kind of a thing. One of the things that I do and this isn't a takeaway or anything like that, but it's a balancing of the flows. One of the things that I do when I am prepping someone for the big idea, the big pitch, right, is I give them an opportunity to dialogue. So here's some material, right? Go ahead and consume the material. They're inflowing. What did you think of that? Right? What did you like best about that? Right? Any questions that came up for you as a result of that? Right? So now they're outflowing. And now I can flow to them, they can flow to me. So we've got a bit of a dialogue going. So we keep bouncing back and forth between inflow and outflow. Not
Which is-
only does that break the monotony of it, but it also gives them what? A sense of participation, a sense of ownership.
Right.
Does that make sense?
And it's movement too.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Do you ever have somebody lecture at you?
Oh God. Yeah.
Right. So their cause, your effect. It's like, shut the freak up, man.
Mhm.
Can I have a word? Right. So even like in webinars, you'll see where people have, here's the host. Hey, if you guys have ever experienced this, put yes in the chat, right? And you see in the chat roll, yes, right? Balancing those flows.
Right,
Mhm.
right, yeah.
All right. Stuart, hey, did Virginia visit you?
She is in New Mexico now, I believe.
What?
Working at University of New Mexico Hospital, right, Virginia? And
I'm in Albuquerque.
she's in Albuquerque, so.
You're already down in Albuquerque?
Albuquerque.
March 12th.
So we haven't had the visit yet, but we were just talking about it. And yeah, we're looking forward to a face-to-face. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm thinking like May something,
I think that'd be great.
All right, so Stuart, for real, like we got to get something on the calendar.
Hell yeah, dude, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm the only one going to be there because we talked about doing this in May, and I'm going, but I guess nobody else is.
Whoa, we got to get something on the calendar.
I'll tell you, every time I see the Euchers all, getting together, I met, we met at this place or that place, on the Lavenia website, on the Success Mastermind website, and you'll see like some of the Brits, get
Yes.
together and whatever. And you guys all got together, or at least a handful of you, in Vegas last year, right? And
Yep.
so yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I'm looking forward to it because I don't think I've had a face-to-face with any of y'all at this point.
Could I suggest late May, early June, hiking, llamas?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude, I think that would be fantastic, and I'm feeling great, and so yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm in Hawaii
honestly,
next month, Salt Lake in early May, and then I'm free. So,
nice. Well, and again, Memorial Day weekend is the big biker rally out here, and I know that you would just love it. And
Maybe
I
I'll
sent you
ride.
some info for
maybe
you,
I'll
Jim.
ride my ass all the way to Taos.
Dude, let's talk about that.
Oh,
Okay.
But I wanted to, if it was okay with you guys, I know we're a couple minutes after. I wanted to share an experience that I had just really like yesterday, and sort of recurring recently in relation to situational status. And I shared a lot about the situational status as a wilderness guide and the llama guy, and rock star for a day or whatever it is, and all that kind of stuff. And yet in the e-com business, as most of you that are involved in this may know, you rarely get a chance to have interactions with the clients in that respect. People see your listing and they either buy it or they don't, right? And so that's almost a multifaceted discussion in terms of how are you presenting, how do you show up in the marketplace, right? And it's through the words that you use in your listing and the images that you use in your listings and things like that. Leah and I have recently started like a new drop shipping gig, and it enables us to list and sell products that we don't necessarily have to warehouse, right? Or be out there making bath bombs all day or whatever it is, right? And so this is kind of next.
Still making bath bombs though.
Still
right?
making bath bombs.
Okay.
Still making bath bombs. But so anyway, one of the products that we're listing is like beehives and beekeeping equipment, right? And so Leah was like, I'm going to list this beehive. Looks cool. And almost immediately we get questions about the beehive, and like, what about this, and what about that, and what about that, and like all of a sudden I had to do all this research and become the momentary expert on beehives, and at the same time very quickly incorporate other products for, let's say, upselling, right? And very interesting, because somebody wants the beehive, well, now they need the suit, now they need the smoker, now they need the this, the that, whatever. And so while I'm like chatting with this person about how great this beehive is, that I'm like reading at the same time, like what the hell is going on with it, and what it has and what the features and the benefits are, and I'm literally like learning this as I'm conveying it
Wow.
to the customer. It's fascinating, but I was having fun with it, right? And at the same time, saying like, oh, and if you'd like other beekeeping supplies, we offer those too. And at the same time, I'm literally like writing listings for, bee suits that I'm then like cutting and pasting the link and sending it over to the other guy. And, I was having a lot of fun with it, but all through my head, I was really thinking like, wow, this is a great example of situational status, because this person is looking to me like, and again, this person doesn't know that we're like, oh, let's sell a beehive. And now all of a sudden you're getting questions about it. And like, at first we were like, we're getting questions about the beehives. Like we had to learn about it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I think there's opportunities to make use of the information in this book across the board, and again, I've given you non-businessy examples of how I've sort of related to this. So again, great book, great choice. Looking forward to reading the rest of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Stuart. And yeah, you didn't crumble under pressure, right? You just, I'm the beehive guy now as of 5 minutes ago. And so let me tell you all about it. Hold on a second here. All right, I'm back. That's great. And who knew the demand? Well, I guess you did some research, right? So you suspected there would be demand for this, but like instantaneously, first day, it's like, hey, man, tell me about your beehives. I don't know. Maybe that's just in my world, that's not a big deal, but lots of other people. Okay. Great, guys. We're a bit over. Thank you. We're through chapter 4, Linda. So chapter 5, hot cognitions. We're going to get into some frame stacking and hot cognitions. So I'll see you all next week. Have a good one. All right. You all deserve it. I love you guys. We'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.